Hello.
Hello.
It's 2019.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
It feels
Happy
like
New
it's
Year.
been forever since we did a Tuesday.
It has. I think it has been forever.
This is
Feels
like 3
forever.
weeks, right?
I think it's been
Christmas,
just 3 weeks.
New
but
Year's. That's a long time.
An action-packed 3 weeks, I'm sure,
Yeah.
for everybody.
So welcome to the new year. Welcome, welcome. So glad that you guys are here hanging with us.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight. All right, I really like props because it's
You want me to hold your?
funny. I think I'm
You got
talented.
it?
I think I'm semi-talented. If not, all of the world will get
You
to
can-
see me
You
dump
can
it.
watch it.
So tonight we decided we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. Yep, that's it. That's what we're talking about tonight. What's the elephant in the room, Shannon?
So as we've been brainstorming our plans for 2019, we're always trying to figure out what to put out there, whether it's retreats or workshops or just counseling practice or intensive weekends. One of the major walls that we run up against time and time again is that, there's a lot of fear around couples work, relationship work. There's a lot of reasons why people just do not want to walk in that door. I don't get it. No.
We're really fun to hang out with. Ask me.
So it's not like and the brave souls that do come into the retreats or do come in for weekly counseling will often tell me they wish they wouldn't have waited so long, or this was the reason that they didn't come in. So we decided to just brainstorm a list because we might as well talk about it.
Yeah, let's just talk about it together as a group. And let us know of the ones we've forgotten, right?
I'm sure there's more.
I'm sure there's other, you're like, oh, they haven't even covered the reason I'm not coming.
We want to cover it. We want to cover it.
We want to understand. We want to understand. So,
and we know that, I laugh. I love relationship work. I'm reading books about it. I watch movies about it.
It's weird.
I know. I nerd out. So I don't understand. It's kind of like my husband is nerdy with farming. He gets on blogs and talks to farmers all over the world. I'm nerdy with relationships. So it's good to hear from people who aren't nerdy about relationships as to what's keeping them from walking in that door.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what? Why wouldn't you?
Right.
Clearly, all of this.
You have this thing that's happening and you don't want to just pull it apart in front of strangers?
So that's number one.
Yeah.
How is a stranger going to help me with anything? This is one of the, if I have an individual who can't get their spouse to come in, they'll often tell me, my spouse just says, what is a stranger going to do?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
What is a stranger going to do? Well, my experience is the stranger is going to kind of be sometimes an outside perspective, a neutral perspective, right? If you've had the experience where something is emotional or heated or it's really personal to you, it's hard to step back that few steps to be able to kind of get that bigger bird's eye view,
right?
Or be able to take in any other perspectives, right? Because we're emotionally attached to maybe our view or our feelings or whatever you want to call it. So sometimes that stranger is able to offer that,
right?
Is just kind of well, what about this idea? You kind of throw things in, and it's really more about kind of just bouncing stuff around.
Right. And then there are the tools.
Yeah.
And so most of us are getting all of our relationship knowledge from what we saw as children, watching parents, watching adults around us. Unless you're nerdy with love and you're out there reading books.
Nerds are great.
We love
the
them.
millennials have made them wonderful.
So unless you're seeking outside sources, you've got your parents as references, and maybe they weren't using the best tools. And so that stranger can be the person that we're not in there trying to, completely jump in. And you're right, we can't understand what it's like to be you. But we can say, hey, this is a way to navigate this. This is a way to communicate about this. This is a way to stay out of conflict. So it's really about the tools. But we know that you are the ones experiencing the relationship and you are the ones that lead the way.
Yeah. The tools are wonderful. One of the things I really like is that really the people that come into our offices, they have the answer and they have the know-how somewhere inside of them.
Yeah.
Right? Like there is no doubt about that. It's not anything magical that we are doing or other therapists are doing. And if they are, please comment who they are. I want to find their magic. I want to know their magic. I'm going to try it out. But no, really, it's really just about kind of holding space for people to come in and be able to kind of talk about that more vulnerable stuff. Right? And when you have that third person in the room, even though it might sound like when you're not in the room, very uncomfortable to talk about some of these uncomfortable things with a stranger. There's also safety in that, right? Especially if you guys have had experience trying to talk about difficult things and it gets heated really quick, right? And feelings get hurt and we can't talk about it. And one thing is oftentimes people put on their best foot. You know, they kind of put on their little mask a little bit when we come into counseling,
right?
Because we don't want to, you know, kind of leads us into the next one, which is like this fear of judgment. But it helps set the stage where we can actually start to dig into some of that work with a little bit of safety so that we can kind of help take good care of, all the people that are in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
So number 2 reason that I hear this one often is we don't want to be judged. You know, the fear of judgment, and not to pick on the men, but I know that men really struggle with that. I've heard that from several of the males that come in, that they were just really worried about, you know, especially where I'm female and their partner is female, that there's going to be 2 women in there judging them for everything that they do.
Right, that they'll
or
be
they
this
don't
ganging
do.
up of
Right.
the counselor and the wife or the partner against that.
So, and I've heard from couples that they've walked into a counseling session where they really felt judged, or there were comments made that you know, at least from their report, sound judgy.
Right.
So my advice there would be, like we are not in the business to judge. I love the fact that I don't have to judge. That's not my job. If I wanted that job, I'd go into the legal system, and that system doesn't appeal.
Awesome job to those of you that it does.
Right.
We need you. We just don't want to be those
I
people.
just don't want to be that. So it's I meet couples where they're at. I don't care what they come in the room with. I want to be able to figure out, you know, what works for them and help them find that, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be something that works for me. It has to be something that works for them. So find someone that suspends judgment.
Yeah. And kind of piggybacking on the judgment piece, right? So there's this fear that like, the stranger person is going to judge me or my mistakes or whatever. But then there's also this other judgment. This was kind of, I mean, I knew it, but I guess I didn't know it until we really put together our first retreat. And that's all the judgment couples have to tolerate from like the people that love them and care about them or are somehow like through blood or marriage connected to them or even friends. Yeah. The judgment from other people that are like, oh, you're going to couples therapy? Oh, you're going to a retreat? What's wrong? We had no idea it was so bad. So
you know that you can talk to us, right?
Yeah, we're here for you. Like, bless their hearts. We had this beautiful couple come and play with us last May. And, you know, that was something that they shared with us was that their family was
really worried.
They really took it as that it was something really bad, like that they were on the verge of divorce. But, you know, this couple shared they were really coming just because they wanted to take care of their relationship. You know, they were doing it as preventative measures. And they were kind of dumbfounded by the reaction and responses of, you know, their loved ones. So, so that can be a big fear. Oftentimes, in some of the groups and stuff I do and the couples I work with, you know, we talk about, we kind of are in a culture where we spruce up the front of our house, right? Nice paint, pretty flowers, all of that. But a lot of times, like inside it, maybe isn't as nice. Maybe there's dust in the corners. Maybe there's, dust, things like that. And so there can be a lot of fear that
the house next to you, they're doing it beautifully.
Yeah.
When every single house, I'm sure, well, I'll pick on my cul-de-sac. Sure, every single house on this cul-de-sac, there's some relationship fun at some point. I mean, the idea that we're going to journey together for 50, 60 years and not hit points in time of which maybe we just need to rekindle what we used to have. Maybe we need to get over a stressful situation. At some point, most likely, if couples are real about it, they could use a retreat or they could use counseling. And so that judgment factor of you have to be on the verge of divorce to go and get any help, we would really like to help.
We want to break that myth. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't, I mean, that's the statistics. The statistics are, those numbers. I don't do numbers. I'm a social worker.
Right.
You know, they do say that most couples wait, right? Up
What
until
is it?
that 7 years.
7 years to seek help. And I hear over and over, it's like, I wish we would have come in 10 years ago. I wish we would have come in 15 years ago. And so just trying to get it outside of that framework of you have to be really, really broken to seek it.
Yeah, right. Like, people will go and take care of their bodies, right? Like, you don't have to be dying to decide that you want to eat healthy, or you want to go to the gym, or you want to get out and take walks regularly. Like, we do a lot of those things to be preventative work. And so you can tap into couples therapy at all, the same way is, you know, let's take care of these things
Just
before they're huge
exercise,
glaring
health.
things.
Right.
Yeah.
So the big one, the fun one is money, right? Let's talk money.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it costs. It costs to go to a retreat. It costs to buy a workshop. It costs to buy a book. It costs to go to counseling. And, you know, this one, Brandy and I were just talking, it's hard to quantify because we truly believe that if you're in a healthy relationship, you feel better. Like your health is better. The relationships and connections with your kids or family, friends, that's improved. Separation is really expensive.
Yeah, that's always I like to make that joke that a retreat or some couples therapy or an intensive is way cheaper than divorce. Every time it's going to be cheaper.
I'm pretty sure we could put that on a card.
I think so. We could do that as a bumper sticker, and maybe that's what we retire on. Maybe we quit these retreats and we just sell bumper stickers.
That seems like it would be really hard. But I don't know, how to put it in exact figures, but the being able to spend some money now, the health, the happiness, the long-term benefits, it's hard to quantify.
Yeah, it is. And I think of like when I'm really unhappy, when Brandon and I have gone through kind of our darker times, the ways that I cope, they're costly. Like, I don't know that everyone does, but like
food.
Yeah, I eat crappy, I eat more, or I buy things, right? Like, that's a way that I go to make myself feel better. Like, I love jackets and tennis shoes. Those are my favorite things to buy.
So you could buy
These are a few of my favorite
shoes.
things. Yeah, right? I mean, so even if you do try to put a dollar sign to it, think about what are the ways that you cope when you're unhappy or you feel hopeless, or I mean, there's lots of different things that we do actually put a dollar sign to in how we cope with kind of dissatisfaction.
Our different numbing tendencies, whether that could be beer, that could be shoes, jackets. Did you say jackets? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think my husband likes to say, I've never met a hoodie I don't love.
Oh. So the other big thing we hear is that someone's had a bad experience along the way with counseling at some point. And some of the times I have to really work on, what do you tell me? Like, Shannon, watch your face.
It speaks volumes.
Right.
Your face is yelling right now.
She used to say that in school all the time. Stop. Shannon, your face.
You gotta put them in.
So I'll hear these stories. I remember one was a couple came in and they had some significant concerns. I think he was dealing with underlying depression for a long time, and they've gone to a couples counselor, and I'm always like, oh, I want them to have a good experience. And the counselor said, well, if you were a stay-at-home mom, everything would be fine, which is a very big overstep for a counselor to say, because that's obviously judgment. So it's that if you've had an experience like that, please don't lump us all into that bucket. Find someone that resonates with you. Know that just like every profession, you're going to run into those different professionals that are not the right fit.
Right. Yep. There's counselors of all different types, and there's lots of different therapies used, right? I mean, there's lots of different modalities, and so don't quit after one try. If you try once with someone and it's terrible, just know that not every counseling office is going to feel that way. The reality is, there's sometimes crappy car salesmen, and sometimes there's crappy attorneys, and sometimes there's crappy dentists, and sometimes there's crappy counselors. But we all know, and hopefully if it got to experience in some profession or another, someone that we really looked up to and liked, that we got to have them as our professional, whether,
Right.
whatever it is. So yeah, don't let that deter you if you can. And then this one kind of connects to it also. Actually, did we talk about that one already? My partner won't play?
No, so a lot of people struggle with, like, they really want to engage in a retreat or a workshop or come into counseling, but the partner won't engage. They won't. And we're hoping that with this list, we've spoken to those reasons.
Yeah, right. And a lot of times, any of the things we've just covered are
the reasons.
Yeah, the motivator for the partners.
I always say, like, if you can just get them in the door one time, like, just get somebody. A lot of times they'll start with one person and they'll be like, maybe, get your own individual work going. If it's counseling anyway, for a retreat, that would be harder. But in the counseling setting, if you start the work and then your person sees that you're making progress, or maybe this Shannon or Brandy person, they don't sound as bad as they thought they might, then a lot of times they'll follow you in.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is we don't have time.
Wait, we're out of time? Oh, you mean for couples therapy? We don't have time to do that on a weekend. We don't have time to do that in the middle of my week.
Right.
Yeah. I don't have time for much, but I do make time for the things that I find to be important. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I lose sight of what's important, right? I mean, while we were going to school, I didn't get to see a lot of the kids' activities, right? There wasn't time because we were in school 3 nights a week and doing internship and working. And then we make adjustments, and we make time for the things that are really important to us. And
again, I think that relationship is so key to how you just feel overall and how safe your home is, and restorative time if you're going at the end of the day into your home to a healthy relationship. That we can't urge you enough to really take that seriously and to make the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's most therapy is 12 weeks, I would say, an average of 12 weeks. If you're really motivated, you can do it in a weekend in an intensive. Or if you're not, at the point of needing counseling, a retreat's going to restore and get you back on the right foot.
Mm-hmm.
And just help make that, the whole feeling and the environment, so much healthier.
Yeah, and the time piece is something that I think is really personal to us, because we've gone through the different experiences of, like, oh my gosh, I don't have any time to do the things that are really important to me. And so this was part of why we sat down and really brainstormed, like, how can we make this work better? How can we, we love serving couples. Like, it's a passion. It is. I know, we're the weird, like, look at us like we got a third eye, an actual third eye on the outside. Like, we enjoy it. It's really fun, and it just lights us up inside to be able to do it. And so we sat down and we've spent lots of time figuring out how can we help. How can we help couples be able to access this in more unique ways than are currently available? And so that's a lot of what motivated us to come up with the ability to do a workshop at home, right? Like, I know how much time I spend in front of Facebook or watching The Walking Dead or the Game of Thrones or Outlander. I know, actually, half of those I haven't watched. People keep telling me to watch them, but right. Like we have time in our day, and so we created an at-home workshop because realistically, you can probably set aside 20 minutes to watch a couple videos together and another 20 minutes to do a couple assignments, or
and if you, like, on the other side of the spectrum, if you can't commit to weekly therapy but you really need to dig in and deal with something, then you have the weekend. You can find a weekend. We always find a weekend for something. Or the retreats are that, like, restorative time that keeps you, in theory, away from necessarily needing to engage in therapy. So we've tried to play in all the different realms. We do play in all the different realms.
We do. So what reasons have we forgotten? Please put them in the comments below. We want to know what other reasons you're.
Throw us some good ones.
Your like friend, someone you're asking for a friend. Why they're really not interested in coming to therapy. or a retreat or, whatever it is. We'd love to hear that. So,
So speaking of retreats, that's the next thing on the calendar. So February 15th and 16th, Idaho Falls. We're so excited.
so excited.
Join us, ask questions. It's a combination of like Valentine's Day is on Thursday and President's Day is on Monday. And so what a great way to have like a 4-day weekend, spend 2 days with us, and then spend 2 days doing whatever you want. If you're from out of town, we're by Targhee, we're by Jackson Hole. Please come and drink tea with us. Come to the retreat and drink tea with us.
Yes.
But
Bring cool cups.
yeah, we can give her one though.
We do that.
We'll give her a red one for her heart.
Ooh. Yeah, I love it.
So check that out. Website is
thethriving-relationship.com. If you're looking for the Idaho Falls retreat, it's thethriving-relationship.com /IF retreat.
Well
It's really
done.
seemed hard to be able to
I know,
say
it's like,
that.
is it backwards?
I know. I heard it on someone else's video. It's / block that in.
If you're in Salmon, you guys could bring a bus and just come and bring a whole group. That'd be
Ooh,
great.
Yeah.
There's an idea. And we promise we'll drink tea.
For sure.
All right.
I think that's it. Is that everything tonight?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I got to get back in this routine.
Yes.
On top of it. New year,
Always.
new ideas.
Message us ideas for topics. Otherwise, we'll keep
coming
we
up.
always come up with
Yeah,
one.
there's plenty of material all week long to give us new ideas for Tuesdays.
Oh, and we're sending out one email a week.
Yes.
With a relationship tip of the week, and then also just whatever we're up to, which you just never know. So there is a link on the website that you can subscribe to our email list if you prefer to get emails.
Yeah.
Or you'd like to get emails.
All right. This was fun. Join us next
We
Tuesday.
dealt with the elephant. Elephant's gone.
Yeah. This elephant, bam! Just kidding. I'm not really going to throw the picture. It's a pretty picture.
It's Emma. She's
It's
mad
Emma.
at you.
I wouldn't do that in All right, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. And if we don't see you between now and next Tuesday, hopefully we'll see you Tuesday night.
See you Tuesday.